Okay, guys, so today we're going to talk about the last and final set of the rock cycle, which is metamorphic rocks. So, how are metamorphic rocks created? When temperatures and pressure on the rocks change, a rock can metamorph. And we know from our vocabulary that metamorph means to change. This happens because minerals inside the rock are only stable at certain temperatures. And as the rock gets pushed deeper and deeper into the Earth's crust, the temperatures start to rise, ranging anywhere from 50 to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Now, does not mean the rock melts at all. This is what happens before the rock melts, because once it melts, it becomes igneous. So think of the rock cycle lab we did with the crayons. When you added the heat and it started to really solidify and it started to change, but it hadn't completely melted and the colors mixed, and adding pressure, that is what makes metamorphic rock. Now, I told many of you a better example would have been if I'd taken your crayons with your foil and pressed down on it with the iron. That would have been adding heat and pressure. So that would have been a better example. So that could have been one of your limitations that you put. So metamorphosis occurs when temperatures and the pressure in the Earth's crust change. The original minerals start to react chemically, and we know that when a chemical reaction occurs, we're going to make something new. So some minerals will start to metamorph at certain temperature ranges, while others can go higher or it will metamorph at lower. What we call this is a minerals index, which means it's temperature that it's going to start to metamorph. There are two types of metamorphic rocks, foliated and non-foliated. Foliated, and definitely write this down, contains minerals that are arranged in planes or bands. So when we talked about sedimentary rock, we talked about how they have bands, but we called them strata or striation. And metamorphic rocks, we call them foliated. Now, the difference is in metamorphic rocks, the bands tend to move and bend, where in sedimentary, they tend to be very rigid and straight. Rocks can contain a variety of minerals that tend to have foliated rocks. Very strongly foliated rocks are often made out of flat minerals such as mica. And I'll show you in class what mica looks like. Shale is a sedimentary rock that is made of layers of clay. However, when shale goes through intense heat and pressure, it changes into a metamorphic rock that we call slate. So we saw what shale looks like when we did our sedimentary sort, and then we're going to see how shale will turn into slate when heat and pressure are applied. So here's a picture, and I know they're very grainy, but notice how you can see the bands. This is an example of a foliated metamorphic rock. And this is what we call gneiss. It actually has a silent G in the front. Non-foliated contain minerals that do not appear to have any a pattern or arrangement. So if they do have bands or have a pattern to it, we call it foliated. If they don't, it's non-foliated. These rocks are only made out of a few minerals, and they can form from contact metamorphism. Examples are quartzite and marble. So here's another example. So here's what quartzite looks like. Here's what marble looks like. Okay, so that's it. So just know that the two ways that metamorphic rocks are classified is foliated, which means it has bands, or non-foliated, which means it doesn't. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.